17.
So when he said that, you see his face on his face. He kind of eyes you, and you see him look each of you up and down. And Al is with you too. He sees the woman on your back, Scout, and goes, "Nah, you're not from here, are you? That's all right. Fucking come on in." And like he points at the camp, and you see it's like a change of heart almost. And as you get closer, he looks at you. He kind of he jumps out of the tree, and you see this tabaxi with dark red hair, almost matching that of the armor in the trees. But looking closer, you see they do have like a thicker mane, like thicker. It's kind of like a fluffier cat almost. But
Like,
they've dyed their hair red, and underneath it you can tell is an actual like almost like a white type of maybe like a cream colored cat, almost like white cream colored cat underneath, or like the fur. But the structure overall is that of like the what are they called? The sphinx-like cats. What are they called? Um,
The Sphinx cats?
no. It's
The hairless cats?
yes, thank you.
Siamese cats?
Siamese cats. No, not the Harris cats. Siamese cats. So it's like the facial structures of that, the Siamese cats. I know that they were Siamese cats were I thought were like held high by Egyptians too, like certain races of them. Anyways, my bad. Um, I have a lot of tabaxis right here. I'm looking at it. Right, it's
That's
it's this.
vaccine question.
So he does. You can see that, or you can hear others in the trees behind you climbing down, and you see that they're all different tabaxis as well, ranging. They're all painted the same red fur color, telling that some of them have black fur underneath, brown fur underneath, all looking relatively like the same type of structure. Different fur types from thin to some looking like they're all. It's basically just their skin. Very short haired.
Oh, dear God.
Um, Don't make me. He made me.
Dear God, man. I'm gonna join you.
So I'm very excited right now. My bad. This is a new territory. Um, yep. I need to get these on hotbar.
There's stuff down
There we go. Boop. He does have a bow strung around his diagonally across his chest. You can see it's this dark brown, really nice embroidery and very nicely designed. Probably a hunting bow. Looks to be a short bow of some kind, or more a hunting bow, possibly. Looking at the arrows that are out at your feet, they're not designed specifically for like they don't look like army arrows necessarily. It's not like in the sense of like mass produced. They look like they've been made probably either while they're on camp or here at the camp that you're seeing now. Something like that. Um, as you get closer to him, he sees you and it's like, I didn't realize you weren't from here. Well, visitors are always welcome, even in times when things are going to shit. So, this hunting party. I'm assuming that you've dealt with your fair share of orcs, yeah?
Y'all got a healer? I need to get this
He
woman
looks at you,
checked out
Scout,
first.
and said, "Oh, it was already." He looks at you, Parky, and it's like, not here, but nearby, maybe. Yeah. Reaches in his pocket, and you see he pulls out like a small, looks like a green wrap of some sort to be leafed, and he undoes it and pulls out. It's a type of bread, and he's eating it. And you can see in the background, people wearing the same type of armor. There's no insignias on this. It almost looks like refurbished armor. Some of it looks to be redone and remade. Some of it looks fresh. Some of it looks like it's been recently used. Looking at this guy, you can tell that there are like parts of him, part of the tabaxi that are bandaged, and some of them that are bandaged. And it looks to, nothing serious, but putting it together and seeing the three that came out of the trees behind you and now walking back into the camp here, and you see the other one that's sitting here leaning against this pillar of a totem, kind of leaning up against the wall. All of them here that you can see so far are tabaxis, and you can see about 8 or 9 of them altogether. Um,
Delta wants to throw up
they
a perception check. He
once
wants to start checking trees and stuff. He does not like how people snuck up on him. He's gonna
I
just make
wanna,
sure that he knows where everybody is currently.
All right.
I want.
Delta's just
I
gonna
want
start
a
checking
Roll it.
trees and shit.
Yeah.
quick question.
Yes.
The,
Quick question.
I want to. I kind of want to show him the insignia of the Red Orc army, right? I know that's on the cloak of that I gave to the woman. I want to kind of like maneuver and show it and see his reaction on it.
Let's see. Well, real quick. Okay.
This is from Gorthox, right? That's the guy's name.
Oh, that was supposed to be. I meant to do +5 on that. No, +6 supposed to be. So that'd be 16 that I rolled, not 17. But I rolled a perception check for myself. Real quick, Delta. Looking around, looking into the trees, you actually see the 3 came down, but looking into the trees around you, you count 4, 5, 6. Only 6 more in the trees, kind of slumped in. But some of them have crossbows, some of them have bows, but you see one that has what seems to be a elongated cylindrical item in their hands that looks to be, you can't tell, they have like a cloth over it and some things dangling on it and adorned on it, like almost looks like, from your point of view, it looks like maybe beads of some sort, and cloth hanging over the barrel and where their hands would be holding it at. But from your point of view, you recognize it as a type of, you're hopeful, a type of rifle.
Delta's firearm
You're
meter
starting,
is just.
yeah, they're not Leonins, but you are, you're trying to piece together. You're like, I'm wondering if, do these people have them?
These
Do they,
fuckers are
They're
making
relatives.
Yeah.
They'd be distant relatives, technically.
Are they like? Is it just cat people in general are really good at making guns?
Yeah.
Oh, and Delta.
So
Cat people with
I will
guns?
always admit this, and this is one thing that's meta, but it's for you guys not as characters, but as players. I will always admit this. When Delta said that he wanted to be a gunslinger, I had guns to come in a type of way, but I immediately wanted guns to be a type part of the world, and I slammed them in ahead of time, immediately, basically at the very, very start, and was trying to constantly figure out ways to apply them earlier, right? I will say guns were always a thing that I added because of the character, and I'm very glad I did, because looking back, I don't know why I wouldn't have introduced them sooner, if that makes sense.
I feel you.
Because, like, if they already exist, why wouldn't they? I couldn't find a reason why, even lore-wise, why wouldn't they have spread to here if Azmerlin is kind of like becoming the main hub of places? Because right now, Azmerlin has the most cities and the most civilians. Like, it's got the most structures, etc., etc.
What's the guy's reaction to the insignia?
You see him, like, he's looking at you, and he's eyeing everyone and keeping a very close eye. I mean, I only rolled a 16 for his perception, but seeing you guys even up ahead, you don't know what he's seen already, because they've been in the trees for actually they've noticed you for a moment before here. It's just you ended up getting too close to the camp. Delta, looking around, your eyes catch it for a moment, but it's almost, thanks to the way you turn invisible in the night, it's almost like a same version chameleon effect. You see little nodes resting in the grass around you. If you actually get close to, well, this one, it says powered, but there we go. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see the tech sensors.
Can you see the sensor range?
No.
Okay.
It's not our tribe.
Do give to me on it. So you can get a visual idea here. Oh, it's unpowered. That's dumb. I thought it'd be powered.
Yeah,
well, where do you have the tech generator at?
Ranges.
It's right here. It's right here. Come over here. Come over to the bridge real quick.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, boing.
Alright. There's supposed to be a crate here. Just remember that. Yeah. Here.
Perfection.
Just know that you can't loot these crates. They'll be empty. Let's just consider the crates empty, but this is covered. I mean, there could be stuff in them, but like, there's just. Oh, you should be able to do the radius to 10 though, right?
To 10.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yeah. No. Just this one right here. It's just whatever was normal. Just press triangle on it, and you'll see the square.
Oh.
It's just a normal small square range. It's like 5 foot
Uh-huh.
around it, or whatever. Like I don't know what the lowest may be. It's like really close. It's just around it, just the perimeter. It's like 5 foot around it.
I'm turning it down.
Okay, that visual representation, you see that in the middle, and once your eyes catch it, you see that it's actually something. It feels like something is staring directly at you. Um, d Getting close to this one, you don't realize this one's here because you're kind of like walking in and like looking and listening, and you look down, you realize you're standing next to one, and it's when you realize you're in a field of it. You don't know what kind of field you're in, but you on the inside of it you can see it, but once you stepped out of it, nothing happened. It doesn't change. You don't feel it. You stepped out of it. It's like stepping in just a light, and then you stepped out of it and you don't see nothing. So like you realize you only notice like this mesh type material from the inside, translucent mesh like light. There we go.
One.
Which is what you guys see around that thing. Yeah, we have. Still cannot understand how they brought down an airship. You hear at the his eyes kind of like go up at it and go at the sound you saying the sound of an airship. He did look at you and see the girl on your back, and did say something about the yeah at possibly nearby, yeah. Um, I mean, he gets a good look at all you. That's all I'll say for you, Scout. um, he's not he's being. At first, you did catch like a tone of like seriousness in it. Probably trying to recognizing you as like either someone that worked for them or knew them or some type of way, but realizing that you were not from here. Your attire is completely different, and you can see that he acknowledged that you guys are different. It's almost like he instantly welcomed you in. Immediately turned friendly and was like, yeah, like, yeah,
180.
come into camp. Like, yeah, you can, yeah, come, you're welcome here. Um, Hearing you pee. Still cannot understand how they brought down an airship. You can see he's like in mid chew of that bread and like stops and is eyeing you. And while it's in his mouth, you hear him go, "Brought down an airship?" And then he looks back and like you can see his
Oh,
ear kind of
okay.
twitching and goes, "Hmm." Maxie was talking about it loud enough. Hmm. Was it a loud explosion? It kind of shook the ground, yeah?
Oh yeah. Black
It
smoke,
we
big fire.
almost,
We were out of
it was as
town.
if we could feel the trees themselves bend to the airwave that hit us, but we were unsure where it come from. And he's like walking you guys to the camp, like this direction, like just kind of slowly. And getting closer, you can see that there's the Tabaxi resting here against this pillar. He's just kind of like watching you guys at all, is all. And he's got, it looks like this to be a sword sheath at his side, but just like him, has a bow across his chest too as well, just strapped in standby mode diagonally. A quiver of arrows laying at his side, but he's like leaning against it, sitting on a crate. And you see another one, the one you seen first, Delta. It's one of the what you've noticed to be the first female so far, but it's the first female tabaxi. Has this very small frame to her, but very large ears. And it's even for her size, you see her carrying 3 crates on top of each other and setting it down on top of where that dummy is at right now, and setting it down and looking back at you guys. No weapon on her at the moment, but you see like she rolls her shoulders and like almost like pops her neck and like move it from like the weight of it, and then goes down the steps and turns to walk the other direction back where she came from.
Oh, okay.
Looking back over the bridge, you do see, and looking kind of over towards the right of the bridge, you see in the distance across the river there, a small group of more Tabaxi warriors of some kind, with the same bows strapped to them. Some of them have different size, might be a long bow, some to be short bows, and they all have relatively the same red leather, hard leather outfit, leather, full body leather chest piece. It's almost like spaldrons and everything, and almost like what an iron chest piece would look, all that, but it's just full hard leather. Um, We were at that town. Yeah, very. We were able to see it go down. So okay. Walking up, you can see he comes up over here and points down over, like hearing what you guys just said. He kind of takes a deep breath, walks over to the edge of these stairs here, turning around and goes, "Man, that's a lot to take in. I'm for the take in for a simple soldier. Oh, well, we should probably get that information to somebody. You know, that's some important stuff." And you can kind of see him almost like shrugging it off in a way, but he's paying attention to you. Like he's the way you respond, but you can hear this like slight oh really to it in a way as he's sitting down and leaning back. He goes, "Well, it happened outside the trees, so if it makes its way in here, then it'll be a problem." Where are you trying to get to exactly? If this city got raided, you seem to be alive. Looking you up and down, you do look a bit.
We're
And then
going
he
to a
like looks
refugee
at you.
camp.
He kind of leans forward and like takes another bite, and you see him like sniffing the air and look a bit down yourself. So it could be. What? How are you alive if this city was raided? What happened here? Uh,
We got
we haven't heard word. No one's made it to our steps yet. No one's entered this forest, and trust me, we would know if they entered our forest. You see the one
we're
that's to your left here, kind of like sit up a little bit, and he untakes his bow, but he just sets his bow off to the side a little bit, like he's trying to get more comfortable, and then rests back against the pillar again. And those back behind him are still carrying stuff and moving things around, and no one else is really paying you any mind. It's just these two here. Refugee camp. He kind of like he swallows the last bit of his bread. And refugee camp, refugees. And he looks around at us and goes. It looks around at the people like back at the bridge. Looks over his shoulder. Looks back at you guys. Looks past you at Delta in the background. Looks down at your bird and goes. The only refugees I see here are you. Or do you mean? Oh! And he kind of chuckles a little bit and goes, "You mean to call the city of Iskro a refugee camp?" And kind of
I was
scoffs a
told
little
that
bit and
my
goes,
camp.
he kind of just laughs a little bit and like looks at the ground and goes, well, looking back at your friend over on your shoulder, if you're looking for a healer, you're not going to find one and he looks behind his shoulder again and looks over at the little camp behind him and looks back at you and goes, "At this refugee camp. But if you would like to spread the word for me and let them know that Madvar sent you, it'd be really good on my part. And since we would let you into our forest, open invitation and all, because you are welcome here. But word of a raided city and no one's shown up, and you say how long ago? 2, 3 days ago this happened? Mm, uh,
Not
we
nice,
wouldn't.
right?
The city of Elder, questionable in their ways they may be, are very
Close knit.
strict about information. So if about my bad, about strict about knowing information, with how much they prod and send over their travelers and those that get their notes from the insides or wherever they travel past the front gates. They would have sent word
So,
by now. Plus, they have their ways. They could have lit they if they needed help, could have lit the pyres on the pillars. We would have known 2 days ago. So, my question
well,
for your group and curious bird is,
birds.
Why do you look so roughed up? Why do you look
I
like you're
ran.
near death? Who's this unconscious woman? And why is this big guy behind you three staring at me so hard? And he's like looking at Owl. Owl's with
Don't
you
worry about
guys.
him.
I'll
And
just.
don't worry about him. But to answer your question, we are roughed up.